Hi Karen. Hi Barbara. Hi Caroline. Can you all hear me? Hi Tony. Hi Karen. Hi Barbara. Hi Caroline. Hi JD. Can you just let me all know if you can hear me? Hi Janita. Hi Charlotte. Hi Patty. Yes, hearing me fine. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you're saying you can hear me now. Brilliant. Okay, I'll give it a few minutes and see how many more people jump on. Although, wow, we've got 27 on here already. So I've got hi Pat, hi Joanne from Ontario, Canada. Charlotte saying yes, coming through loud and clear. Lynn is saying hi, Ashley from Costa Blanca. Wow. Lynn, do you live out there? Mandy, yes, can hear. Patty can hear. Catherine, yes. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Carol Horton from, is that South Florida? Joyce can hear. Daniel can hear. Brilliant, you can all hear me. Hi, Paul. Oh, you're still busy making masks. Wow. You're amazing. Hi, Barbara. Janita, awesome. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So everybody can hear me. So I've not really done anything specific for tonight. Hi, Daniel. For the past 17 years, Lynn. Oh, right, fab. I'm trying to read the comments and think about what I'm trying to say. Hi, is it Basma from Kuwait? Wow, hi, welcome. Edna, Canada. Wow, okay, brilliant. Right, what I thought to do is just play about with some shapes. Now, my friend Paul Bailey's on here and he's good at this kind of thing, but I'm just going to keep it really simple. So obviously I'm going to be using Canvas Workspace. The Wednesday nights seem to have turned into Canvas Workspace Wednesday, don't they? So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'll take the majority. Do you want me to use Canvas Workspace online or Canvas Workspace, the download? Just say web or PC and then we'll see try and see what the majority is. Hopefully there will be one more than the other. Hi Donna. Judy from California, hi, welcome. So I'm seeing PC, PC, PC. There is a picture now, Lynn. I was just getting myself ready. PC, PC. One person saying web so far. Thought you were taking the day off. Glad you're here. Received info for Monday's Zoom session at 8:47 a.m. Did not open email until 4 US time. Oh, and you missed it, Rose. Never mind. In fact, that's one of the things I'm going to show you before I get started tonight. So it seems to be mostly PC, so it looks as though PC's winning. So I'm not sure how well you're going to see this. Let me try because I'm sat in front of a window. Let me see if I can angle it. No, I was trying to get it up on my screen before I came on air, but anyway, this is a project. There are 5 flowers here in like a rainbow, which the light's blocking out at the moment. But this border design here is a simple border that I created in Canvas Workspace. And this project, which again you can't see but it does say thinking of you, was the first Monday Zoom class that we did at 4 o'clock. So I work with Makers Superstore, who are a UK based company, but they ship ScanNCut products worldwide, and they sell, I've told you all this before probably, but just in case there's anybody new, they sell all the ScanNCut accessories, so mats, blades, all that kind of thing for all model machines, and they have the exclusive on the Disney SDX machine, which is the one I now use. And they're doing a campaign called May is for Making. So every Monday at 4 p.m. UK time, starting Monday just gone, which was the 4th, we're doing a project on Zoom, and the class is free and it's limited to 10 people. And all you need to do is, I did mention this on Sunday, you need to email team@makersretail.com. I think that's it. I'll have to double check. And you can book a slot. And this was the card that we did. Just can't get a decent view of it. I'm really sorry. Oh, that's a bit better. Can you see now? So it says thinking of you, and there are 5 flowers that is the Ceres flower ding. I provided them with the cut file for the flowers, and then I showed them how to make this border. And the reason I'm showing you that is because that border is obviously just made from simple diamond shapes. So I thought that would be what we would mess about with tonight in Canvas. So most people are all saying PC still, so we'll go with Patty. Yes, I sent the original one, didn't have the flowers on it like this, that I sent Scrimping Mummy, correct. And then I adapted it for the Zoom lesson, and then that's now leading me on to working with shapes with you guys tonight. So I'm going to open Canvas Workspace for computer, and then I'll share my screen with you, and I'll just catch up with, because I can see a few more people are jumping on. So hi Claudia from Brazil. Joanne Rattray, you could only see through it. Yeah, I'm sat right in front of the window and the sun is glaring in, so it's just washing everything out. So let me just bring up Canvas and let me swap my screen over in the hope that you are then going to be able to see, and we'll just have a play and see what we can come up with. So you should now all be able to see my Canvas screen. JD, don't worry about missing it, it's fine. We're doing them, as I say, at 4 o'clock UK time every Monday for 4 weeks. So Monday just gone was the first one. So this coming Monday, which will be the 11th, is week 2. Then the following week will be week 3, and the last Monday in the month will be week 4. And we've designed a different project for each week. So as I say, if you email team@makersretail.com, you'll be able to book yourself a space if you want to over the coming weeks. So let's start off. So does everybody want me to show quickly how I did the diamond border on the bottom of that card, or do you want me to just jump in with some simple basic shapes? I can't see any answers coming through, so okay, what I'll do, I'll start off with the diamond border. Okay, I've just seen one message pop up now from Charlotte. Okay, right, we'll start with the diamond border because it's really simple, and then I'll move on to some other simple shapes and show you what you can do just from basic simple shapes that are already here in Canvas Workspace. Okay, I can see them all coming through now. So I'm in Canvas Workspace for computer, as we said, and I'm on the basic shape tab. Yeah, I can see all your comments coming through now. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to come into the purple section, which is headed others. So I don't know if you've noticed this before, but when you come into the basic shapes, you've got squares, rectangles, polygons, triangles, etc., etc. And if you come down to the purple section, it says other, and here's the little diamond. So I'm just going to drag the diamond onto my mat. With the diamond selected, the border would be great. I'm just catching up with some of your comments. So you're all saying yes, border, please. Alison is saying hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, Alison. I'm only just starting. Alan is saying hi, yes, please show the border. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so here's the diamond that I started off with. I'm going to come over to the edit icon, which is the second icon down on the far right hand side, and in the width and height, I'm just going to alter the height. And because I'm leaving the blue box that says maintain aspect ratio checked, that will alter the width as well for me. So the height, I think I made at 0.40. And I'm working in inches, by the way. If you work in millimeters, if you come to the bottom icon down here, which is when you hover over it, it's called your art board. This is for anybody that may have not been, with us in previous Wednesdays. Under the ruler section here, you can see mine says inches. If you want to change to millimeters, you can do. Or if you're in millimeters and you want to follow this and I work in inches, this is where you change it. Okay? So I'm just going to go back to the editing icon. So with that one tiny little diamond selected now, I'm going to come over to the layers panel, which is over again on the right hand side. And I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom, and next to the rubbish bin or the trash can, however you want to call it, you'll see two boxes and one has got a plus inside it, and that's where you can duplicate. A lot of the times you'll see me say right click and choose duplicate, but for this I'm just going to use this option down here so you know where they are. So I've got one diamond. I'm going to hit the duplicate button 5 more times so that I end up with 6 diamonds. Now, when we were doing the Zoom class on Monday, somebody's program wasn't working as good. The only thing we could suggest at the time was that they maybe updated their software or uninstalled it and reinstalled it. But for me and for the other people in the Zoom lesson, this all worked. So when you have the one diamond selected and then you use the plus arrow down here and choose 5 more, you will get your diamonds in a kind of a diagonal and this spaced. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to come back to the editing icon. Under distribute space, which is down here under the alignment section, mine at the moment is set as 1.00 inches. So that's another thing to look at if you're going to follow this, at a later time. But basically what I want to do now is line all these diamonds up along the bottom edge so I get a row. So I'm going to come over to where it says align, and I'm going to just left click on the one with the line underneath it, which is align them on the bottom. And when I click away, you'll see it's lined them all up now, all along the bottom edge, and they're all touching. But I want to space them out, so I'm going to select them all. And this is where you come to where it says distribute space. You can either type your number in here, or you can use the up and down arrows. Now I'm going to use the down arrow, and I'm going to take the spacing down to 0.25, which you should be able to see here, where my mouse cursor is hovering. And then the box next door to it, if you hover over it, says horizontal distribution space. And that basically means I'm going to space out these diamonds on the horizontal line at 0.25 of an inch apart. So when I click and then I click away, you'll see that's what I've got. Hi Charmaine. So these are all individual diamonds now at the moment. I'm just going to drag an imaginary box around them all and right click and make them a group just for now, just so it's easier for me to drag them around if I need to. With them selected, again, you can either right click and hit duplicate, or you can come back to your layers panel and come to the bottom and create a duplicate. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm lazy and tend to use the right click option. So now I'm just going to left click anywhere on the page to deselect, and you'll see again now that it's offset this duplicated line from my first line, and it's positioned them more or less centrally within the gap of the row above. So I'm just going to select the bottom row, I'm going to right click and ungroup and left click to deselect, and I'm just going to choose that last diamond on the second row and hit delete on my keyboard. You play around with this, you fiddle around and do whatever you want. You don't have to do this, I'm just showing you how I made this particular border for this file. Sorry, for this card. So now I'm going to select them all, right click and make them a group. So that was the start, that was my starting point just from messing about with diamonds. Then to make the border have a little bit more definition when I cut it into the front of the card, I wanted to cut a line above and below. So going back up to the basic shapes, I just chose a rectangle, and I honestly can't remember how wide I made this because I actually created this card a good month ago, and as Patty said, she saw that I sent it to Scrimping Mummy. It was just a card for her just to say hi while we were all in lockdown, and then I recreated it a couple of weeks ago in readiness for the Zoom, and although I did it on Monday, I can't remember how high I made this rectangle, but I have a feeling it was maybe 0.09 inches high. So that's what I'm going to go with tonight. So with the rectangle selected, I'm going to come over to the height box and I'm just going to type in there 0.09 of an inch. And obviously that's made it tiny so you can't see it. So I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio and I'm going to make the width 3.5 inches. So now I've got this tiny, thin, like rectangle cut line, if you like. I'm going to select it and duplicate it and position the other one above. Now I have to admit, when I made the original, I just positioned the distance of this rectangle from the top and the bottom of the diamonds just by eye, just how I thought it looked okay. So I'm just going to do the same. I'm just going to try and give them a fairly even gap between, the rectangle and the diamonds. Now these diamonds are all a group, so I'm going to select everything. I'm going to center them all together horizontally, and then I'm going to right click and make them a group. Now because I've already got all the diamonds grouped, I may get an error, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to group them, and that's worked fine. And what I found from working in Canvas Workspace, particularly the PC version, if you're working with a lot of shapes and you group them and then you go and try and add some more and group them again, you'll get an error message telling you that items are already grouped. Basically what you need to do is just go back to all your items that are grouped, ungroup them, and then group everything together, and that will get rid of the error message. Obviously, if it happens while we're doing this, then it'll be easy for me to show you, but that's just a way of getting around the grouped error message. So this is now a group, and then basically The base card I was using was a UK A4 card cut directly down the middle, which is about 5.75 inches high, and I think it's something like 4 1/8 wide. It's more or less equivalent to a US A2 card, which I think is it 4 by 5.5, something like that. RA4 is, I know, just slightly different in size. So bearing in that in mind, I then decided that I wanted to make a matting layer for the front of the card. So I'm holding the shift key down and just rotating this rectangle. And then I'm going to come to the height and I'm going to make this 5 inches, I think I made it. And then I'm going to make it 3.5. This was to act as my matting layer on the front of my base card. And then I literally positioned my diamond shape. So I've obviously made my rectangle too narrow. So I'll make it 3.75. And then this should sit on the front like so. So basically, this here that you can now see on screen is the white layer on the front of my card. So if I just come back to me for now, let me try. So what we've just made is this white layer. This is my base card, which, as I say, for us in the UK is classed as an A6. And I think it's about 5.75 by about 4 1/8. And the white matting layer is what we're now making in canvas. Okay, so you can see it's got a border, but again, you play around with your your matting layer. You might want to make your white matting layer bigger, you might want to make it smaller, however you want to do it. And then I literally, let me just send this to the back because it's on top of mine. So that's a right click and center back. And then I just positioned the diamond border roughly where I thought from the bottom, and then selected everything and made it fit in the middle, and that became the front of my card. So let me catch up with what we're saying. So we've got 5.5 by 4 1/4. Okay, yeah. 4.25 by 5.5 is A2. Okay, yes. Yeah. So I think we've got something like 4 1/8. We're slightly narrower on our width, whereas you've got your 5 and 5.5. I think ours is something like 5 7/8, something like that. So Paul's saying the program will let you only group 3 times. Yeah, that was it. I knew there was a specific number, and that's when you get the error message. That's right. And then what? Ungroup everything. That's right. So that's what I found, Paul. So basically, you need to just ungroup anything you've grouped, then select everything and make it a group, and that'll get over the only having 3 grouped elements on your map. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's that one. So let me see what Rose is saying. I tried to email you several times on Monday, but message kept getting rejected. How do we email you directly? Me specifically, Rose, if you want to email me, if you go to my website, if you just give me 1 minute. You should be able to see my website, Rose. And there is a contact tab. And if you use the contact tab, you can message me directly. But if it was to do with the Makers Zoom class, then you need to email Makers. But me, you can go to my website here, and the address is at the top of the page here, and just use the contact tab. Is that okay, Rose? So Alan Green is working in millimetres and he's saying that A6 is 105 millimetres by 1.48 in the UK. Okay, well I don't use millimetres, as I say, I use inches. So if that's what what you work in, obviously you can try this out for yourself. Rose, okay, that's fine. Okay, so that was literally how I made the border. So now I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. So just going on from there, then there's other things that you can do in the using your basic shapes. So let's bring a circle on. I'm going to come to the Edit tab and I'm going to make this circle 1 inch. I'm going to undo that because I've not got Maintain Aspect Ratio on. So again, now 1 inch. Right, let me catch up with what you're saying. Wow, again, I've learned something again. Thank you. Well done, thank you, Alison. Rosie's saying, yes, she's okay with that now. Right, so we've got a 1 inch circle. I'm going to right click and duplicate. The duplicate, I'm going to make 3/4 of an inch. So 0.75 and enter. So I've now got 2 circles, the smaller circle on top of the bigger one. I'm going to select both. I'm going to come down here still on the Edit tab and I'm going to come to Center on the horizontal and Center on the vertical. And the small circle should be on top of the big one. So when I now select both and come down to the bottom of the Edit page and hit Subtract, I've now made like a donut. So if I fill it with colour, you'll see what I mean. So from here now, I'm going to, again, duplicate this. So to make it easier, I'm going to come to my Layers panel. With it selected, I'm going to hit the plus button down in the bottom right-hand corner, and I'm going to say 5 more times. Again, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to come back to the Edit icon. I'm going to line them all up on the bottom edge. You don't have to line them on the bottom, you can align them by the top, it's entirely up to you. I tend to always lean towards lining them on the bottom. And then this time I'm going to take the spacing up to 1 inch. So I'm down here under Distribute and I'm going to say horizontal. In fact, no, I don't want 1 inch. Let me see. I'm going to say 0. That's it. Okay, so 0 in the distribution and lined up on the bottom. So I've literally just got a row of circles. So from here, I'm going to right click and make them a duplicate, and I'm going to drag the duplicate down. I'm going to create another duplicate. So let me just see, I've just seen a question pop up. Alison's saying, may I ask advice on size of bunting, please? Going to make some for VE Day on Friday. What, paper bunting, Alison, or fabric bunting? Let me know and I'll just carry on for now. So with this group still all selected, I'm going to use the Shift key on my keyboard and rotate them. And then I'm going to make another duplicate of this row, right click and duplicate, and I'm going to bring them over here. So this top row now, I'm just going to move up out of the way. And I'm going to bring in a square. On the Editing tab, I'm going to make the square 6 inches. And I'm going to position the square so that it runs centrally through this bottom row of circles here. which are all individual at the moment. Then I'm going to select the top row and I'm going to bring them down and position them centrally. And then I'm going to do the same with the sides. So I'm literally just clicking and dragging to select them all. When I see the 4 arrow head, I know then I can move my circles over. I'm going to position them on the square, and I can see at the top of where my circles are selected, I can see the blue square, so I know that's going through this middle line. And then I'm just going to do the same, and then I'll catch up if there's any more comments. So this is what we've got so far. I'm just going to duplicate one of these circles and just move it out of the way for now. And then I'm going to select all of these, and on the editing tab I'm going to come down to the bottom and say weld and see what we get. Okay. Right, I'm just going to have a quick drink. Has anybody got any questions so far? Okay, I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm assuming that you're all okay with this so far. Oh, great, I can see comments coming through. Paper, please. Right, we'll have a look at that in a minute, Alison. Charmaine is saying, question, how do you get so clever? No, I'm not clever, honestly, Charmaine. I just play around in the software. That's all I do. Honestly, I just play around. Things work, sometimes things don't work. I get error messages the same as everybody else, and I just have to try and work out, you know, why I'm getting them. So Gina is saying, I want those coloured pencils instead of coloured squares for the fill colour. Is there a way to change the view? Gina, I use a Mac, and that's just how my colour palette comes up. Right, okay, Lisa's saying no, got it. Mandy's saying very clever. Jazzy's saying I like the coloured pencils as well. I think it's just because I use a Mac, and that's just how the colour palette comes up. I can change it. If I go to colour fill, I can have it on the pencils, or I can choose, you know, and just click and drag somewhere in here, or it gives me certain colours that I can just click on and choose. Or again, I can, you know, go to this, but the pencils is the kind of one that I default to all the time. Alison's saying you make it look so easy, thank you. It is, honestly, you just need to play around with it. Barbara, what you're saying, thought the line would be single, not double. Which line? Barbara. Alan's saying, I do like that, I agree with Jazzy. The lines double because of the donut shape. Yes, correct. Because this is what I started off with. That's right, yes, Alison. No, Alan, sorry. Mandy says, I have a Mac and I have the pencils too. Yeah, I just think it's their colour palette. I think that's the way it is on Mac. Alan, I think so, yeah. As I say, I think it's just the way the colour palette comes up on a Mac. when you click the fill, if you use Windows, when you click the fill, I don't know what you see. I just see this palette, and as I say, I've got the different options that I can choose from, and I tend to just use the pencils because they're there, easier and quick for me to click on a colour. Okay, I'm going to carry on in a minute. Let me just see what you're saying. Is that pencil thing? Yeah, I've answered that. The one that always baffles me is the open or intersecting path when I'm trying to design. It isn't open but won't allow me to weld or carry on. It depends how you get the message link, as I've found that sometimes when you're using that Ceru's flower ding, the paths don't look open, but it gives that error message as well. So it's just a case of playing around and trying different shapes and see. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. What's Barbara saying? Sorry, Ashley, we'll wake up in a mo. Okay. And this was just basically started off from the humble circle that we put a smaller circle on top using the subtract, which gave us the donut. And then I lined up all the donuts and put a square over the top. Now you could turn this into a frame, so you could get another square, which I will fill with colour just to make it easier to see on the screen. And I'm just going to leave it at the default size it's coming as. Select both and go edit center and edit middle. And then this small square is now on top. So with everything selected, again, if we use subtract, this time you've made a frame. So just from simple, humble, basic circles, this is the type of thing you can do. So you can have something like this, which could be the matting layer for the front of a card, or if you drag it out and make it big, let me move that out of the way for now. This could be a scrapbook layout. Or you can put another shape, let me make it bigger. You can put another shape on top of it and turn it into a frame. It doesn't have to be a square. You know, we could use something we don't use very often. Let's use a star. Fill it with blue. Let's drag it out a bit. Position that on there. I'll centre them both on the horizontal and vertical and use subtract. So you've got this now. Right, what you're saying, have tried to email Maker's retail address, not found. I've probably give you the wrong one. I'll look in a minute. Remind me before I go. What's Alan saying? When you lined the circles around the square, does it have to be exact in line? No, you don't have to. You can position them wherever you want. I just wanted them in a straight line on the vertical and on the horizontal. You can put them wherever you want and play around with whatever you want. I'm just kind of basically showing you how to use the align functions, the weld functions and the subtract functions within the software. Helen, it doesn't matter about the caps being on, that's fine. So that was just one way of using your basic humble circle. So let's try something else. So if we select the circle and duplicate it, and then drag it down here, I'm just going to select both. I'm going to align them vertically together. And this time I am going to group them. So I'm just going to right click and group. Now I'm going to select the layers tab and I'm going to make 5 more. So I've got 6 in total. I'm going to select them all, come back to the edit tab and align them centrally and vertically. So they're literally all stacked on top of each other. Right, let me just see what someone's saying now. So I've got amazing, thanks, great lesson. Alan Green saying, I noticed when you enlarged to 12 inch, the circles at left row didn't line up exactly with the others on the square. It's probably because I've just not aligned them properly, because if you remember, Alan, they were all individual circles. I didn't group them. I literally just positioned them by eye. But if you line them up, so if you line your two vertical lines up together and align your two horizontal lines up together, and then put your square on and weld, it will all be symmetrical. Okay? Right, so we've got a group of two circles stacked 6 high. Now, when I was showing how to do something like this in Canvas Workspace for web a few weeks ago, I said if you click the top one and use your Alt or Option key, you can then drag and duplicate at the same time. And obviously we've discovered that Canvas Workspace for computer doesn't work that way. So I've got 6 circles here, all in a group on top of each other. So if I come to the edit icon, and if I come to where it says angle, and then if I type, what's a circle? 360 degrees. So if I type 36 in here and hit enter, I may not have done this right, may have to play with this again, but we'll work with it for now. So I've rotated the top double group 36 degrees. So if I come to the next one and rotate this one 72 degrees, you can see that I'm rotating them. I'm going to come to this one and I'm going to say minus 36, rotate that way, and then I'm going to come to this one and say minus 72 and rotate that one that way. And if I just move this out of the way, oh, I've got, how many more have I got? Okay, so I've not, my maths isn't right. So let's undo. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 12. What's 12 into 360? It's 36, isn't it? So let's get rid of one. I'm just trying to read what you're saying. Alan's saying okay. Tar, hello from Judy. And then I'm getting cool, and then OMG, wow. Is that to the circles, Alison? So now we've got circles in a circle. So if we come to the basic shapes and find another circle and position this, now what I'm going to do, these are all just individual groups at the moment, so I'm going to select them all and make them a group. And then I'm going to bring this circle on top so that I can select these objects and center them on the horizontal and vertical. 30. That's where I've gone wrong. See, maths obviously isn't my strong point. So now this circle doesn't look big enough to me, so I'm going to drag it out because I want it to kind of split through the middle of these other circles. So let's just drag it out and make it bigger by eye. Select both, center on the horizontal and the vertical, and then weld. And now we've got that. So again, I'm going to redo it because I've got some spares here. So I'm going to redo it at 30 degrees, but for now we'll stick with this one. So again, now I've got this. Again, you could put another circle in the middle, and obviously, you know, depending on how much. Let me fill these with colour because I think I always think you can see them better if I fill them with colour. So again, we're going to make a frame. So if you want more of a frame here, you make your inner circle smaller. If you want less of a frame, obviously make it bigger. And this is what I do. I just play around and I weld things together, or I subtract things and I see how they look. And if I'm not happy with how they look, I just undo. So I'm going to select both of these now. I'm going to line them up again, horizontally and vertically. So this middle circle is centrally to the other one. And again, I'm going to hit subtract. And now we've got another frame. So I've got an oh wow, and then I've got a double wow. Thank you. So again, this is simple shapes. So let's go back to this one, and I'll come back to my layers panel and I'll add 5 more. So I should have 6 lots in total. Select both, come to edit, align them centrally and vertically, and then click away to deselect, and then click the first pair. So again, now we're still on the edit tab. Really, we've not really moved from the edit tab tonight, apart from going to the layers to make duplicates. So you can see, there's a lot you can do within this program just using simple functions. So I've just got these top pair of circles selected now. So where it says transform an angle, I'll type in 30. That looks better, doesn't it? Then I'll choose the next one and I'll go to 60. Then I'll choose the next one and I'll go to 90. And then I'll choose the next one, and I can either do -30 or we can say 120. And then I'll choose the next one and we'll say 150. There you go. So the circles are closer together now. So again, I'm just going to select them all and group them just to make it easier. And then we'll bring on another circle. And then we'll position this circle. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Select them both. Align them on the horizontal and the vertical. And weld. And that's what we've got now, just from using a different number of outer circles and a different degree of rotation. So let's fill this one in. So what we're getting, what we're saying. So I've got oh wow, double wow. You definitely make it look easy, Lynn. Lynn, it is. You just have to play around with it. As I say, it doesn't always work for me. I just have to undo and go back and work things out. Hi, Lynn from Australia. Looks fine as it is, Ashley Allen's saying. I had no idea layers existed. Okay. In the PC version, Charmaine, layers do exist, but not in the online version. So kind of this is what we've got so far, just from using the humble circle. So is there any questions? Because I want to try and answer, was it Alison who wants to do the bunting? And we'll have a look at that and see. Alan Green is saying, what is the tab between the edit and the layers? I've got the rhinestone activated, Alan, and that's my rhinestone function, which is, did I show that last week? Was that last Wednesday's? I think it was, wasn't it? I don't know about you, but all the days are just blending into one since we've been in lockdown. I never know what day it is. I thought it was Sunday the other week, and I think it was Friday, or it's just all melding into one big mess, isn't it, really? Right, hi, Leslie. You're waiting for your shopping delivery. Okay. Carol's saying, my tabs on the right is missing the centre tab. Your tab on the right is missing the centre tab. So, Carol, you mean when you're in the edit tab, Is that what you mean? What do you mean? You're missing the align functions, or just trying to explain to me a bit more, Carol? I'm not sure what you mean. Mandy's saying, Fab Demo, I managed to create the star card following. Only problem I have is when I come to subtract the star, it says operation not allowed. Objects include open pass. What am I doing wrong? Mandy, do you mean what I've just shown you tonight with the star in the scallops? Because if you are, I don't know. If you follow what I've shown you and weld the square to your circles, unless you've not made your donut, Mandy, you've got to make a circle, and then you have to make a smaller circle which you place on top. I'll fill them with colour so you can see what I mean. So if I fill this one with, and this one on top. So Mandy, you've got to make a donut. You can't just have two circles lined up on top of each other like that and then weld a square to it or subtract from it. You have to make this punched out. So you have to use the subtract to make your donut first, and then line all your donuts up and put your square on top and weld. Carol saying that answers my question. Rhinestone, yes, okay, thanks, yes, I just can't subtract it. Okay, well the star needs to be on top of the rectangle for it to subtract. The only thing I can think of is if you're getting an error message, it must be something to do with the way you've done your circles here. But if you start again, sometimes the program can be glitchy. I would maybe close down the program, come back into it and start again. No, Alison, it's awful, isn't it? It really is. And the weeks are flying by. It seems to be no sooner that it's say one Thursday and then it's round to the next Thursday. It's madness. Right, so Alison wanted to know about bunting, was it, Alison? Was it what size you want to make it? Right, so in here there is a flag shape, I think, already. And if there isn't, we can make one. Sure, there's one. Okay, Mandy, so when you've made all the donuts, you put your square on top and weld everything. And then that becomes one object. And I'll go over it again in a few minutes. Right, let's look for the flag shape for the bunting. Here we go, it's in the triangles. So if we hold the shift key down and rotate this. Right, Mandy, so you want to know roughly is it what size you want to make it? Is that what you're saying? I would make them, if it's for bunting, I would make them probably 9 or 10 inches tall at least, or depending on what you're cutting it from. I mean, if you've got 12 by 12, you could just make them, big. Let's see what this is. This is 7.7 wide by just over 10. So you could drag it out and let's see, make it smaller and then duplicate it. Hold your shift key down and rotate it, and then you'd get 2 from your page. You could probably even make it wider. Let's try that again. But if you're doing A4, I would make them about 10 inches tall. Are you just cutting them in plain card, or do you want to put something on them? .12 by 12 cardstock. Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to make them as big as possible from your 12 by 12, it depends what you want to do. If you want to make them smaller and get more from your 12 by 12, then obviously I would maybe make them 6 inches high. But if you want them as big as possible and you've got enough 12 by 12 card, then, you know, I would make them as tall as you can make them. So this is, let's say 11 and a quarter. So 11.25, and this is 7 wide. Let's see if we can get 2 on. Yeah, you can get 2 on comfortably. So you've got 11.25 inches tall and 7 inches wide. And if you rotate one, so it's the upside down, you'll get 2 from a piece of playing card with 2 holes. Okay, so let's delete one. So let's say then we're going to make it this size. So we've got 11 and a quarter high and we've got 7 inches wide. What you're going to feed through the holes, Alison, is it going to be ribbon or string or what? Dolores is saying, is this Canvas Workspace available for all ScanNCut machines? Yes, it is, Dolores. There are 2 versions. There's what's called Canvas Workspace for Web, which is the online version which you access through a browser, an internet browser, so you need an internet connection. Or when you go to the online version, before you physically log in, there's a big black button that says download. And you can download the version that I'm showing you tonight, which is available for PC, so Windows or Mac. String. Okay, so let's make your circle 1/4 of an inch then, because if you're using string, I would think string would go through 1/4 of an inch. So we'll say 0.25, which is now tiny and I can barely get hold of it. So we'll position this at the top. For ease, I'll come to the layers panel and make a duplicate. And then I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard because it's that tiny. In fact, let me zoom in. Might be easier to zoom in. You need to get those 4 arrows, don't you? So position them where you think you want them. I wouldn't put them too near the ends if you're doing it in paper because they can sometimes rip. I would select my 2 circles, come back to my edit panel, line them up so they're on the same plane, and I would group them. So they're lined up horizontally. Let's line them up on the bottom edge and right click and make them a group. And then I'm going to colour them in so you can see them. Drag them down on top of your bunting. Select your bunting and your grouped circles and centre them on the horizontal. And then let me just zoom back out. And then you can either leave it like that and group them. If it was me, I would punch the holes out of the rectangle. So once they're all aligned, I would just go to subtract. And that when I fill this with colour now, you'll see that the circles have been punched out of it, Alison. And I would just do something like that. And I'd make a duplicate, and then using the rotate handle and holding the shift key down, I'd rotate one upside down, and then you're going to get 2 from every piece of 12 by 12 card. Right, let me catch up with what you're saying. String I've got. Alan Green saying, Dolores, any brother? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Canvas Workspace is a free program that they gave us, and it doesn't matter what machine you've got. And as I say, you can use it online or on computer. Dolores is saying, question in caps does not seem to work. Thank you, Alan, for your answer. Okay. Paul is saying 5-inch wide and 6 inches tall in the Canvas project. Okay, so there's one in Canvas already. Okay, so Alison, if you don't want to make your own, Paul's saying there's one in Canvas already, which is 6 inches tall and 5 inches wide. Charmaine is saying, when would you use the layers function rather than the edit duplicate function? It's just personal preference, Charmaine. I'm lazy and I like to use shortcuts. So me personally tends to always use a right click and do duplicate. But the function is under the layers tab. So it's entirely up to you how you want to use it. Right, we've got a wow from Patty. We've got a wow from Caroline. Oh, wow, thank you so much, Alison. Okay, Alison, I mean, if you are not confident in doing this, if you email me, I'll send you the cut file. I'll send you this cut file. It's up to you. Or if you think you can manage it, you know, just make it yourself. That's fine. And yeah, Paul's great. Paul is a whiz. He's on my design team, and he's the guy that you'll have seen making like the bottle tags and the Easter baskets and that kind of thing. And he works a lot in Canvas, editing, you know, nodes and playing about with shapes. Right, any more questions before I go? Because it's 7 o'clock. I'm just going to have a quick drink of my juice again. And Alison, just in case you're not sure how to get me, have I still got my... Go back to my website. You can find me here. So www.applelover53.co.uk, and you click on the contact tab and you can message me. I will actually save this file. I'll do it now, and then if you do want it, let me just find it and make it a cut file, and then I'm just going to go to File, Export to Computer, and I'll call it Alison in case you want it. So Alison Bunting, and I'll save it on my desktop, and if you do decide you want it, I'll attach it to an email for you. Address for Lynn. Right, okay, hang on a minute. I've actually got it written down somewhere and I don't know where it is, so just give me 1 minute. I'll see if I can find it in a message in my phone. Oh, right, that is my fault. It's okay, so for the makers Zoom meetings, you need to email team, TEAM, at makers with an S, makersretail.co.uk. So if I come back to me, and I'll see if I can put it on screen. I will add it on here and then hopefully you can see it. So it's there. Can you see it? Right, I'm just going to go back because I'm missing loads of comments. So I've saw Lynn that said email. Yeah, done that. Thanks for another great lesson. That's JD. Thank you. You're welcome. Charmaine, thank you. I really enjoyed this tutorial. I need to play. Fab. Go and have a play, Charmaine. Edna's saying thank you for this lesson. Just wow is all I can say. Oh, thank you, Edna. Alison, you're a star. Oh, you're welcome. Make a retail, yeah, I've done that. Thank you, Ashley, so kind of you to share with us. Thanks, see you later. Yes, Alan, thank you. And Barbara, thanks all for telling me what bunting is. So kind. Thanks for so much info. Cheers. Look forward to the next one. Yes, okay, Lynn, thank you. Enjoyed this, thanks. Donna, awesome. Look forward to the next one. Thank you, Ashley. I want to make a braided embellishment, so this is perfect. Okay, fab. Charlotte's saying yes, I'm writing it down. Have I spelt it all right? team@makersretail.co.uk. Yeah, thank you, always great instructions. Yeah, I said .com earlier, didn't I? Sorry, it's .co.uk. That's probably why you couldn't get to it before. Thank you for this great info. Right, okay, so any last questions before I go? Lynn, you're welcome. So just have a play with your shapes, people. You know, take your simple, humble circle and have a play. Rose is saying, ordered my foiling kit, expecting it today. Oh, fab, so you can play with that then, can't you? Were you with us on Sunday, Rose, when we did the foiling kit? I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names and they just don't stay in my brain. And have you all seen that I've added more cut files into my shop just before I go? Jazzy's saying thanks. So there are more cut files in my shop now, some free ones, some that I am actually charging for. Leslie, yeah, catch on Sunday, yeah, no worries. Yes, you were, okay. Excuse me. Right, okay, stay safe everybody, and I will hopefully speak to you on Sunday. And just before I go, if anybody has got any suggestions for any of these Wednesday night Canvas Workspace tutorials, can you just email me and let me know? Or once this YouTube is finished rendering and it becomes there for everybody to see, if you go back and leave me a comment and see if there's anything else that you'd like me to show on a Wednesday night. No idea what I'm going to be doing on Sunday. It might be a Canvas project. I'll have to wait and see. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say stay safe to you all. Excuse me, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Thank you.